Pleased to be joined by three members of the Fighting Illini right now, Doug Kramer, Vederian Lowe, and Owen Carney. Guys, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. I do want to start by acknowledging the passing of one of your teammates, Bobby Roundtree, this week. Of course, a really courageous battle after being paralyzed a couple of years ago. I'm just interested if each of you could tell us a little bit about Bobby and what he meant to you. I know it's something everyone on the team has understandably really been impacted by. Doug, why don't you start? Tell us about Bobby Roundtree.
Bobby was, he was an unbelievable teammate. He was an unbelievable friend to a lot of people. And he impacted so many people within our facility. He's leaving behind an unbelievable legacy. I'll never forget the way that, that smile for one, and really just the way he went about it every day. If there was any adversity, he would attack it. He would have an unbelievable attitude about it. And, he inspired me as, an older guy on the team to really look at what he did and try to relay that.
For Darian?
Bobby was incredibly courageous, for that to happen to him. And for him to still continue to work every single day, and keep that same mindset that he had even when he played. He still was smiling. He still was being positive every single day, still had that happy mindset. And, he was just fighting every single day. And I think that, his courage, is something that, everybody can take away, from the legacy that he left on this earth. He will forever be missed. And just the way that, he played on the field and the energy that he had around him, it affected everybody in a positive way. And once again, he will forever be missed.
Owen, what's the biggest thing that you learned from watching him and watching his fight?
Just being relentless. Bobby had a type of motor and a hustle about himself that not many had. And even after his incident, he took the same game day approach and practice approach to fight his fight and on his journey to try to walk again. His energy was very contagious, and he's not only a friend, a teammate, but he was my brother, and I'll forever love him, and he's forever missed.
Well, our condolences to all of you and to the entire Illinois football family. Just a tragic, tragic loss, and we will certainly remember Bobby Roundtree and the impact that he made on the Illini Nation. I do want to turn the page and talk a little bit about this upcoming season. And one of the things that we talked with Coach Bielema about that I think is somewhat staggering are the number of guys who really could have gone and played anywhere with their final season. And you guys kind of all fall into that group of players who you got one season left. And where am I going to play it? And you chose to come back to Illinois, to a program that is admittedly rebuilding. And in fact, he talked specifically about you too, being among the first two who said, yeah, I'm returning. Give us a sense of why. I mean, I think from the outside, it has struck me as really significant that, you go somewhere where you plug in and go win a national championship or any of those types of things. And you chose to stay with a new coaching staff that you don't know. Explain to me what went into that decision. And Doug, we'll start with you.
Well, for me personally, I couldn't see myself wearing other colors other than orange and blue in college. I grew up a diehard Illinois fan. Both my parents graduated from this university. I got other family members that went to this university, so this meant a lot to me. But obviously I wasn't going to make any decision before I met Coach B. After the full meeting with the team and then one individual meeting with Coach Bielema, I knew that, that was a guy that I could trust. His coaching experience speaks for itself. He's won Big Ten championships on this field. That's really what I wanted to be a part of. I want to play more games next to V. I want to practice against OC. I want to get better. And that's really what went into it for me.
For Darian?
After, that last Penn State game and then, Coach B, coming and having a team meeting with the guys, you could see that just off of that team meeting, him saying that, he's the newest family member, right off the bat, he just stated how he was the newest family member, and that's, what he's been preaching, since he's been here, family. And that's the way he approaches it every day. He treats everybody the same. He builds a camaraderie with all of his players, that in all actuality builds trust, that goes a long way. And, after meeting with them, having a conversation with them over the phone, and, just learning more about him and learning, how much success he's had in the Big Ten, that played a huge part. And, me staying, I obviously, wanted to play more games with these guys, wanted to go against Owen more in practice, every chance I get. So just to be here with these guys and to have another season and also, be led by Coach B, it's an honor, and I'm glad I stayed.
As you may have learned, he's had some pretty good success with offensive linemen through the years, as a point of emphasis. Owen, he was mentioning for you it was a little bit different, right? That you went into the portal and really gave some thought to leaving. So maybe your decision was a little more challenging, and yet ultimately you ended up in that same spot and being here and being one of the leaders of the team. Take us through what made you say, yeah, I'm going to hitch my wagon to this guy.
Yeah, I did give the transfer portal a look. I explored my options, and after countless and numerous conversations with Coach B, I can tell you he's a pretty convincing guy. And not only that, but he's wise. And like you just said, he has success in the Big Ten, and he has a lot of wisdom to give me. And I feel like he's not only just my coach, he's a mentor to me. And it feels nice to go into his office and just not only talk about football. So that was just some of the factors on why I decided to come back.
Give us a sense for his style. What's it like to play for Bret Bielema? Cognizant of the fact that you haven't had preseason practice yet, you certainly haven't played a game yet. But what is it that you're kind of sensing as the vibe coming off of him, Owen?
Coach is definitely a player's coach, and when he says something to you, you're going to want to pay attention and heed to it because it's going to come back full circle. He has a saying that history always repeats itself. And everything that he says he lives by, and I wouldn't want another leader to lead me this season.
To what extent have you gotten to know Coach Bielema, and what stood out for Vederian?
What stood out to me with Coach B is just the chemistry that he builds, with his players. I always say that, if you build such a connection and a chemistry with your players, that ends up building trust. And when you trust, your coach who's leading you, you take the constructive criticism, you take everything that's thrown your way because you know that they're not steering you wrong and you know that he's guiding you in the correct direction. Coach B knows where we all want to go. He's been where we all want to be. And, just for him being there and him having that experience, and like Owen said, with the history repeating itself, he's always telling us something that he knows will come back around. And he's always telling us something that he knows will be in our best interest. So I think that's what it is.
We mentioned when we looked at the schedule that Week 0 game against Nebraska. It's a huge opportunity for you guys to make a statement right away, right, about how things have changed with Illinois football. When you see that game and this notion of having the stage all to yourself, what goes through your mind, Doug?
I think it's definitely massive for our team, massive for the university, for the fan base. Memorial Stadium will be 100% capacity. The fans will be back in force, and I'm really looking forward to that. But in terms of this game, it is a Big Ten West opponent, and we know how important it is to win at home against Big Ten West opponents, as Coach B was talking about earlier. But at the same time, that doesn't change our level of preparation for any game. It starts Week 0. It starts against Nebraska, absolutely. But the standard of our preparation doesn't change based on who we're playing.
Vederian, describe Bret Bielema's offense and Tony Peterson's offense. What should we expect from the Fighting Illini?
I think that you guys should expect a balanced offense. We're going to be balanced in every way possible, and, we're going to play to our strengths. As Coach B says, he's going to put the best players out there, to perform for us, and that put us in the best position possible. So, I think you can expect a really balanced offense, from Coach Peterson and from Coach B that will and ultimately result in success for us.
Oh, and how about Ryan Walters' defense?
You can expect a lot of different looks. Not other than that, but a fundamental sound football team. We want to play complementary football. And with a defense with a lot of returners like Jake Hansen and Tony Adams, we look to get after some people this year.
Vederian, I am amazed and simultaneously, I would say, exhausted by your story. As I've read up about you a little bit, you're married, you have 2 kids, and you've got your brother who lives with you also and who you are now the legal guardian of, and you're a college student, and you're a student athlete. How do you have time for it all?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just try to dedicate myself to, with whichever task I'm presented with at the moment. In the mornings and early mornings is football. I wake up early. I get my routine going for my workouts and everything, so I can go as hard as I can on my workouts to get the most out of that. And then right after that, I go home and I either wake my children up to get their morning routine started with, or if not, if they're already up, then I just try to get their day going and just be a father while I'm at home, and also just try to teach my brother life lessons, try to guide him in the correct direction, try to make sure that he sees a family that loves each other and that cares for each other, and just a balanced home. Me and my wife do a great job, just complimenting one another, with, me playing football and being in school and everything, and then with her working. So I think that, just having a great relationship with my wife and, just being able to compliment off one another, makes it a lot easier, than what it sounds like.
Amazing stuff. Kudos to you on that. I want to leave each of you with this. How do you define success for Illinois football this year? What would you say, Doug?
Well, the key thing right now is focusing on week 0, 100%, and finishing up our preparation in the off season. But success is defined by, how well we execute what Coach B, his vision for our program. And right now, that's being tough, smart, and dependable. So on and off the field, that's what I'm focusing on, and I know that's what our team is focused on.
Vederian?
Yeah, just like Doug said, just focusing on our week 0 opponent. That's the one goal that we have right now. Is taking care of business in week 0, and as Doug said again, just being tough, smart, and dependable. And if we achieve that, then we just find that as success too.
Owen, anything to add to that?
Yeah, right now we locked in on Nebraska, and we want to be tough, smart, and dependable. And I don't think success is going to be defined by the analytics or the stats. We want to be a tough, hard, fighting football team. We want to stop the run. We want to play complementary football, and we want to. Oh, messed up.
All right, awesome. Owen Carney, Vederian Lowe, Doug Kramer. Guys, thank you so much for your time. Really a pleasure to speak with each of you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys.